There's a certain type of person who is often misunderstood. They rarely show up in public, rarely post anything, and don't spend their time explaining to the world who they are. They're not the kind of people who race to display their identity or prove something to others. They don't feel the need to follow trends, join the noise, or show off. What's interesting is that these are often the people who are the calmest, who think the clearest, and in many cases, are the strongest. We live in a time when showing off is mistaken for confidence, while being quiet is labeled as insecurity. Disappearing from social media is often seen as a defeat, as if not being visible means nothing is happening. But the truth is often the opposite. Some people choose not to appear, not because they have nothing to show, but because they no longer need validation from anyone. People like this are usually already at peace with themselves. They understand that real confidence doesn't need an audience. Let's talk about these people, those who speak softly, walk slowly, and choose silence. They don't chase attention. Instead, they live with direction and purpose. While others are busy looking for the spotlight, they're busy building meaning. When others strive to be seen, they strive to grow. First, they don't need validation. One of the reasons they rarely post is simply because they no longer need recognition. People who truly believe in themselves don't wake up in the morning asking, "What should I show the world today?" Their question is different. When they wake up, they ask, "What can I do today to become the best version of myself?" Their focus is no longer outward, it's inward. They don't feel the need to broadcast every achievement, not because they're ashamed and not because they lack confidence, but because they understand that not everything that grows needs to be announced. Some processes need to be protected, some progress is sacred, and some growth can be damaged if displayed too soon. They know certain things in life are better nurtured in silence. They don't post for likes, applause, or approval. They've already validated themselves. They understand that people who are truly at peace aren't busy proving anything. They like who they are, and that's enough. To them, confidence isn't loud, aggressive, abrasive, or attention-seeking. Real confidence walks into a room quietly. No announcements, no showing off, no drama. And somehow, people around them can feel that calm, not because of what they say, but because of who they are. Second, they trade attention for peace. We live in a world where the line between connection and exposure keeps getting blurrier, between being genuinely connected and being constantly visible. In a reality like this, calm people choose a path most others rarely take. They choose not to be involved all the time, not because they can't socialize, not because they're awkward or closed off, but because they understand that every bit of attention comes with a cost. The more someone is seen, the more energy they lose. The more eyes on them, the more opinions they have to deal with. And the more voices that enter their space, the harder it becomes to stay focused. These people understand that not every joy needs to become content, not every happy moment needs to be shared, and not everyone needs access to what's going on in their lives. For them, protecting their peace is a priority, just as important as protecting their image is for others. Being unseen doesn't mean they don't exist. In fact, they understand deeply that a life that's too accessible loses its boundaries, and a life without boundaries eventually becomes exhausting. That's why they're intentional about where they show up and who they give access to. They show up only in places that truly matter. They choose to be visible only to people who genuinely matter in their lives, not because the outside world isn't important, but because their energy is limited. And it's within those small circles that their lives feel whole. The conversations are deeper, the relationships more honest, and their presence more meaningful. They don't give themselves to everyone. They don't open every door at once, because they know that if everyone gets access, there's no room left to breathe. That's why they choose a quiet life over a loud but empty one. Third, they're not falling behind, they're mastering. Silence is often mistaken for stagnation. Not showing up is seen as not progressing, and not posting is seen as not moving forward. But for these people, silence is their workspace. In quiet, they build, create, and train themselves. In that same quiet space, they fail, fall, and rise again, without the spotlight and without an audience. While many people are busy posting their future plans, they're busy working on those plans. When others are busy explaining who they are, they focus on improving who they are. When others look productive, they're the ones truly being productive. To them, focus is the most valuable currency, and focus cannot grow in the middle of noise. They don't feel the need to update the world about their lives because they're fully engaged in living that life. They don't parade the process they're going through because that process already demands all their attention and energy. To truly master something and reach the goals ahead, you need full presence, not half effort. Fourth, they choose to be lone wolves. People like this are often misunderstood as antisocial, but that's not the case. They're simply very skilled at conserving and managing their energy. They know exactly who deserves their energy and when that energy needs to be protected. They understand that giving too much access to too many people quickly leads to distraction and a loss of mental clarity. That's why they choose small circles, meaningful conversations, honest relationships, and calm, drama-free connections. They don't withdraw out of fear, but out of awareness. They understand that chosen solitude is far healthier than forced crowds. They speak only when they have something of value to share, not just to fill space or add to the noise. To them, privacy isn't secrecy, it's a boundary. And those boundaries are exactly what make their presence feel strong when they decide to show up. A lone wolf doesn't chase the pack, doesn't get caught up in comparisons, and doesn't wait for approval. It builds its own path. Often, to become strong, someone must disappear first. Disappear from the noise, from expectations, and from the pressure to constantly explain who we are to the world. You don't need a loud voice to be powerful, you don't need to always be seen to grow, and you don't need to look important to be someone who matters. Sometimes the bravest step in life isn't stepping forward, it's having the courage to step back. To step back so you can see more clearly, hear your own voice again, and reconnect with who you truly are. Go inward, because that's where your strength is being built. If today you choose to stay quiet, it doesn't mean you're losing. It might mean you're building something big, something that isn't instant, and something the world doesn't need to know about yet. Let the results speak for themselves later. Thank you, I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.